Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe 21 Love, here at the AEW Dynamite review for the December 21st, 2022 edition, second last Dynamite review of 2022. The year has been in full effect, and last we're at the home stretch, but off the heels of a very good Winter's Coming last week for Dynamite, Wednesday's edition was fairly good. We had some good talking points as far as Dynamite is concerned. Swerve Strickland has a new group. He is officially heel, and he is officially turned on Keith Lee in a mediation segment with Rick Ross, which Keith Lee was reportedly jumped by Parker Boudreaux and a mystery guy. Now, look, the segment had much going into it, and I think with how it unfolded, bit underwhelming in some's eyes, but first of all, I like Parker in this group because A, he's a big guy, he's a heater, he can definitely add a presence to the group, and he's so very young, and if he can feed off of Swerve Strickland, it can help Parker in the long run. And who better as a wrestler than Swerve Strickland? The Mr. Guy. Now, for those, because his name still hasn't gotten to AEW, but for those who search on social media and stuff, you'll find that it appeared his name is Brandon Goatsman, who reportedly played 11 years in the MLB, mostly with minor league baseball, but 11 years in the MLB, reportedly has trained with Jay Lethal. Just some rumblings you find on social media, but yeah, what will his AEW ring name be? That will be determined, but it was a different segment, I'll leave it at that. Ricky Starks, after his loss to MJF at Winter's Coming, the effect was, how would they rebound with him? How would he, they make him still look relevant? That's the thing. Keep him as a key component of AEW. And Wednesday was definitely a good step forward in building a feud with Chris Jericho, which, that's definitely a bright spot to rebound from a world title feud and announce that it will not be the only time he faced off for MJF for that world title. So, get to that segment. Also, I want to also shed light and say what a great main event that was between two ladies. I will say, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida, both put on a hell of a match. Hell of a women's championship match in the main event. Sorry, I had some little difficulties there, but now I'm back. But yeah, ladies put on a hell of a match. Good for them to end the show. And yeah, I'll touch upon everything that went on from Dynamite, plus more. But anyways, thank you for joining me. If you're new to podcasts, want to see more pro wrestling related videos, click the subscriptions there in the corner. Find more videos on the homepage. Like, subscribe. Let's get into them, shall we? Let's get into notes for AEW. So the show started off with a very good segment between Ricky Starks and JS. So again, the first thing for Dynamite, Ricky Starks came out to the ring and, he said yes, things would have been better if he was standing there as the new AEW World Champion, but that is not the case based on last week. But said, hey, at least he lost as a man, whereas Max lost at one as a coward. And he still has dignity and respect, unlike Max, who apparently doesn't have a set of balls as well. So, but he said there will be another time for Max. He said if he was just that close the first time, imagine what it'll be the next time they face off. He said that it's only the beginning and that if he has to work his way back to a title shot, so be it. Said line up so he can knock him down. So then we heard Chris Jericho's music play, and he's accompanied by Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. And Jericho, first of all, he praised Ricky Starks, saying that he's not a dollar store version of anybody. He's $1 million talent, and that he will be a world champion in the future. But he is not ready yet. So he talked with his comrades, and in the middle of all of this, crowd started chanting, Sammy sucks, Sammy sucks. That was hilarious. And Jericho proposed that Starks join the JS. And Starks in a sarcastic tone basically said, wow, you know, the almighty Chris Jericho gave him a compliment. So, pulled back at Jericho, saying he admires how Jericho has managed to stay relevant all throughout his time in AEW, and that months ago he was built like an air fryer, but now he's shredded, he's lean, he's mean. He looks like a single father on his 5th divorce. So he said, while the offer is very tempting, he said, hell no. So, said last week he lost to Action Andretti. His stock is taking a hit. And that the J and JS might as well stand for jobbers. Which perked a few eyes, including Jericho's. So then he challenged Jericho for a match on January 4th. New City, new AEW in Seattle. Jericho then said that was definitely the wrong answer. And all of a sudden, Jake Hager with his bucket hat clobbered Starks from behind as the JAS forged an attack on Starks, who was saved by the man behind the almighty upset last week, Action Andretti, actually saved Ricky Starks from further attack. Now is the end of the segment. One sec. One heck of a segment. I mean, had much going into it. Starks first got on the show after losing to MJF, building a program with Jericho. I mean, it seems, yeah. Action Andretti, of course, after beating Jericho, he had to be on this show one way or another. And this wasn't the last we saw of him on the show. So, good stuff. Then we had match 5 in the best of 7 between the Elite and Death Triangle. No disqualification. Anything goes, match 5. This was chaotic. This was a mess. And we're definitely going to get 2 more matches left in the series, but it was different, hence the stipulation. And I mean, they're really trying to change this series. Through the home stretch, which you like to see. Because, again, 7 match series. But it's good. A tree was involved. Brent Color was dressed as an elf. He took care of Abrahantes. Penta went wild with a trash can, cleaning out everybody. It looked like it was going to be bad for Nick Jackson, as he was about to get his ankle even more destroyed by Penta and a chair, but that was not to be. Kenny saved him with his own trash can. Matt him moonsault to the outside, taking out Pac and Phoenix. Good fall by Kenny Omega, hitting You Can't Escape with the trash can for near fall. There were 2 tables set up during the break on the outside. So Omega got a barbed wire broom out from underneath the ring, hence the cleaner, and ran roughshod. So the Young Bucks hit serial dives off the top rope through both tables on the outside, taking out 2 members of Death Triangle. Omega hit a Tiger Driver 98 on the barbed wire broom for a near fall. Phoenix countered the One Winged Angel for a near fall. He then used the hammer, which only got a near fall. And in the end, the Bucks hit a Melcher driver on a chair for the win. It's now down to a 3-2 deficit in the series for the Elite. I think maybe a couple more spots or couple too many spots in the match towards the end, but nonetheless fun, different, Falls Count Anywhere. Next week is going to be different, hence the Anywhere, Falls Count Anywhere. So, in the building. It's going to be interesting to see where it ends up, because trying to make the best of the end of the series, which will culminate in Escalera de la Muerte. But good for match 5. So MJF, he was showing a segment post match last week against Ricky Starks. He managed to hide in a locker room and say, basically was irate at Bryan Danielson, saying that was supposed to be his moment. He beat Starks clean in the ring, and that was supposed to be his moment, but Bryan came out to ruin it, and that everyone's trying to ride the wave of MJF, trying to eat off his plate. But in the end, Bryan will eat less than he desires and eat more than he deserves. What can you say? Another short but sweet promo by MJF. What can you say? So, Action Andretti He was backstage showing Shivani. He got a promo about his victory of last week, telling all the attention he's been getting since his big win. 2.0 came into the scene and said, whoa, we're trying to give you a compliment. He said that basically Andretti's on fire. And all of a sudden, Andretti turns around and the wizard, Chris Jericho, throws a fireball in Andretti's face. And yep, guess we can firmly say that good quote by Daddy Magic Matt Lee. That was funny. But poor Andretti, just, yeah. Bryan Danielson. He was in the ring with Renee Paquette. He sort of explained his actions, talked about his affiliation with William Regal, and how he's obviously irate about what MJF did to Regal, and how close he's been with Regal as almost like a family member. And he proceeded to call out MJF, but we don't hear MJF's music. We hear Ethan Page's music. He comes out with Stokely Hathaway, and boy, was this hilarious and good. So, Page's talent, well, okay. He was in the finals of the AEW World Title in their tournament. Excuse me, correct. Bryan wasn't. Talent that he was in the final two of the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. Bryan was not. So Page basically said you're delusional and crazy if you think you deserve a shot over Ethan Page. And he told Bryan to basically go be a dad, otherwise he'll turn Bryan to a vegetable. And then along the lines, Stokely Hathaway said the term vegetable man to Bryan. And Bryan was like, whoa. Of all people, first of all, he touted the glare on Stokely Hathaway's bald head. And then he said, of all people, you're going to call me vegetable man? And Stokely was like, you raggedy bitch. You raggy bitch. And then, just calmly, Page put his hand over Stokely's microphone. So then, Page unbuttoned his shirt, looked like he was ready for a fight. But he touted if you want me to turn you in a vegetable, I'll do it next week. Saying, I'm not going to do this for San Antonio. So he's like, I'll see you next week, Brian. So there's that. Good stuff. So Brian versus Ethan Page. Nice match to look forward to. And I mean, that's funny. They showed MJF in the back watching this segment. And yeah. You know, it's a good match to look forward to. And Page does obviously have a point. You know. He's had momentum as of late, you know. In the finals against Ricky Starks in the World Title Eliminator Tournament and the Battle Royal. So, go on Page's part. Should be a fun little match to look forward to next week. So, Samoa Joe, he had a little holiday greeting for everyone in AEW and for Wardlow. Saying that he hopes he has a good weekend, surrounded by friends and family, and has a good Christmas. But ultimately on December 28th, he'll get something different than he wishes for. So, Samoa Joe seeking an attack for Wardlow, you know, or a match, but either way, I mean, Joe's a beast. Joe's a beast. Has been for 20-something years. And still going strong. We'll see how it goes. This is when kind of, now, with winter's coming, the flow of the show and everything felt very solid, and everything just, you know, flowed beautifully. With these next few segments, it kind of got a little congested, if you know what I mean. I think anyone who watched the show probably say so as well. So, Hook took on a guy, I forgot his name, took on a jobber, basically Red Rum, you know, going to 17-0 for Hook, obviously. Came to Jack Perry's aid last week. Made this guy tap out right after, literally right after. So, right after Hook won, they cut to the back, and Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. I'm still getting used to that name. Big Bill chokeslammed Jack Perry into a dumpster. And Puck was assigned himself and started heading to the back right away. So, I mean, cut to the match. You cut to a backstage deck. Cut back to talk. And then right away, we hear Jon Moxley's music hits. And Jon Moxley for Darius Martin next. because apparently on Rampage there's going to be a $300,000 Trios Battle Royal. And the Blackpool Comic Club will be part of it, as well as Top Flight and AR Fox. So, yes, they wanted to get a preview. And this match was fine, but none needed. I mean, could just shown the attack on Jack Perry and you would have been fine. But, yeah. So, Martin had some good moves. Hopefully they can stay healthy. Top Flight, he had like a springboard flatliner for a good near fall. Ultimately Moxley landed with stomps, elbow strikes, went for bulldog choke, but after Darius would not tap out, he hit Death Rider on Darius for the win. And pretty much that. Jon Moxley gets victory over Darius. This match, next match was fun, good, and a pleasant surprise. So, we had FTR Vs The Gunns. Now, obviously the Gunns, Austin Colton, have been heavily targeting FTR to get their attention over numerous weeks, and obviously attacked them after a brutal dog collar match versus the Briscoes at Final Battle. And we got this match here. Was a fun tag team match, I will say, with a outcome that leaves people wondering. So, Wheeler was getting beaten down. He got a hot tag to Dex, ran rough shot. They got to the outside. I believe Austin was, or actually they went for a spike pile driver on the concrete on the outside. But Cash saved his partner, hit a suicida. Then Colton was sent into the barricade on the outside. While Austin sent Cash or Dex into steel steps. For those who don't know, Dax legitimately injured his ass. Legitimately injured his ass at Final Battle in that dog collar match versus the Briscoes. So they were playing up to that aspect. So in the ring towards the end, so Dax went for a pile driver, but because of his injuries, he couldn't hoist Austin up. So back and forth, Dax tried to roll up Austin, but Austin cowered. And then with an assist from Colton for leverage, 1, 2, 3, the Gunns steal it. And they beat FTR in their biggest win to date for the Gunns. You know, FTR are in a bit of a unique situation because, because for a while, it seemed like the best choice going back to All Out before all the melee ensued with CM Punk. That seemed like the best choice was to have FTR vs Young Bucks when the Bucks won that ladder match versus Jurassic Express, to have a winner take all match in the rubber match between the Young Bucks and FTR for all the gold for the AEW World Tag Team titles, Ring of Honor titles, AAA, IWGP. I mean, just all I say. That could probably main event in a pay-per-view even. No disrespect to Moxley and CM Punk, but that probably could have. Now, obviously that was not choice. Bucks and Kenny went for trio styles. Won them against Dark Order. Now they're going back at them again in this best of 7. So, FTR haven't been really used that much on AEW television, despite having all these titles. Now, they've been in these wars with the Briscoes, and they've defended titles in New Japan. They've been to AAA. They've faced the Aussie Open. So they've been on numerous shows. So perhaps with their injuries, perhaps maybe a way circulating that, because Excalibur noted that they're on a 3-match skid. They could potentially take a break, with their schedule, and potentially come back, potentially go elsewhere, go back to WWE. If they're going to take a break, then I wouldn't be surprised with their workload. So there's that. At the same time, great for the Gunns. The Gunns have shown improvements, and so young as a tag team. And with the tag team core and AEW being sort of afloat, you need a good, solid heel tag team to go up against the Acclaimed, or potentially to take the titles from them. It's definitely a thought. So, big for the Gunns. Huge for them. So we get to the mediation segment between Rick Ross, or mediated by Rick Ross, who was hilarious throughout this segment, I will say. Keith Lee, and they were calling out Swerve Strickland. And he was delaying, but I think the funniest part from this segment, easily, was when Rick Ross turned to Keith Lee and said, and I quote, "You a big motherfucker." Yeah, that was no bleep, no nothing. You didn't hear it. You heard it full. So Tony Khan's definitely gonna have a fun in AEW. But that was just hilarious. Oh, hilarious. And you could tell on Keith Lee and Tony Schiavone's face. So eventually, anyway, Swerve came out of tunnel and said, well, we're doing things on Keith Lee's time. It's time to do it on Swerve's time. And Ross kept saying little things, little things. So Swerve said, you know, you couldn't keep an eye on the tag team titles, you couldn't keep an eye on your health, and you couldn't keep an eye, and you need to keep eyes in the back of your head. And all of a sudden, from behind, Parker Boudreaux. He's from behind. He covers with some shots on Keith Lee. But Lee seemingly takes care of him. And then knocks him over the top rope. And then... So Lee goes to the outside and goes after Swerve. But then he's attacked by the mystery guy. Who sends Lee up against the barricade, stomps him, and then pretty much it's a 3-on-1 assault from there. And then steel steps are set up, a pair of steel steps. Lee is draped over these steel steps, and a cinder block is set on Keith Lee's chest. And Swerve heads to the top rope and lays in a stomp on the cinder block and Keith Lee. And that was how the segment finished. You know, Swerve's great. Parker, again, very young. Obviously has room to grow. So, you know, a part of this faction could do good deeds for him. Because, you know, Swerve has obviously mega heat right now. But did obviously feel a bit underwhelming. I think that's for sure. Just felt kind of odd. But I can see the plan, sort of. But yeah, it did not go great. I will say that. Than what it could have been. Main events. This was a fun main event between the women. Jamie Hayter versus Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. A very fun, physical women's match to close the show between two ladies who can definitely bring it. They're not afraid to wrestle, and this is fun. So, Shida came out with a fiery start, taking it to Hayter, landing some shots, really going after and making it shown. Well, because with Britt Baker and Rebel at ringside, she kind of had to do it as quickly as possible. And there was a great spot in here where Shida landed a suplex off the apron for a near fall. Back from rig, she had a big knee in the middle of the ring for a near fall. Hayter hit a Death Valley driver onto the knee along with a sliding lariat for a near fall. There's a bit of a roll through powerbomb by Hayter for a 2. Things got a little clunky when Rebel and Britt Baker tried to get involved, but Shida took care of them both. Hayter went for another big lariat, but only for a near fall. Finally, she had one last ripcord lariat, Haterade. 1, 2, 3. Jamie Hayter retains. A fun, fast-paced, hard-hitting match for the women. Good stuff. Afterwards, Hayter was exhausted. Rebel and Britt went for the attack on Shida. Toni Storm came out for the save. More of the same. And then Saraya's music hits. And then she saves the day. And Saraya, Toni Storm, and Shida stand tall in the middle of the ring. There was that. So, a great match in the show. The ending, so-so. I mean, when the music is so quick, one after the other, it's a little left to be desired, but nonetheless, who is Saraya's tag team partner going to be for Britt and Jamie Hayter for next month? Hopefully it's not Toni. And hopefully it is either Thunder Rosa or Cristal on there. But we'll see. Either way, some great stuff from Dynamite. And yeah, Samoa Joe next week. Got Bryan Danielson for Ethan Page. We got some good stuff to look forward to next week on Dynamite. But anyways, if you guys like this video, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. How about the video? How about the channel? Also subscribe if you haven't. But let's thank you all. Be safe. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Hope everyone has a safe Christmas weekend. And see you guys next week. Adios. Peace.